Yes, everybody, this is Stephen Howson. This is 5 things that we learnt watching Manchester United beat Manchester City. Wow, I didn't think I'd be saying that today. Right then, 5 at the back. Kind of worked, actually, didn't it? Now, against Tranmere, we saw Manchester United line up in a 3-5 at the back, and we was thinking, look, there's no way that we're doing this right now to be able to line up against Tranmere. Everybody, certainly everyone that I spoke to was like, I think he's got his eye on this for future games, and I think he's got his eye on this for possibly future teams, and this is a live trial of a team that we're probably going to beat, and to be fair, we absolutely beat, didn't we? But we managed to pull it off, we managed to play the formation, and against Manchester City, what we saw is a formation that give us flexibility. It allowed us to have an extra man, obviously, in the back line for when you've got all of those runners darting in and out. Now, do I think this is a formation that we need to be using at, I don't know, let's say Brighton at home? No, it isn't. It certainly isn't the sort of formation that we need to be using against Brighton at home. But it is a formation that is good to have in our locker. It's a good formation for us to have in our top pocket to be able to keep teams guessing. When teams are doing their analysis on us and when they're looking at what we're likely to line up at, when you just play 4-2-3-1 week in, week out, and you never change it, then all that happens is they go, here's how United are going to line up. And they put no thought into it whatsoever because they know. When you've got 2 or 3 formations in your locker and they go, if they line up in 4-2-3-1, it's going to be this. If they line up in 3-5-2, it's going to be this. So having the ability to be able to surprise your opposition at any time is good. Having the flexibility to play different things to different suits is good. Having that sort of flexibility that's going to mess the opposition around, keep you guys guessing, but also cater to the injuries, the issues, the rest problems that you've got within the squad is good. So I think props to Ole for that, for being actually arsed enough and brave enough to change it. Is it a formation that I expect us to play for the rest of the season? No, it's not. But while we've got the current injury crisis that we've got at the moment, it's a very, very viable option for us. Number 2, Matic was excellent. And then he got sent off. And I learnt a new phrase, which was the Serbian brace. Score a goal, get sent off. That is not the last time you're going to hear that from me this season, I promise you. Excellent finish. Absolutely outrageous finish to score the goal that eventually won the game for Manchester United. Composed on the ball, he kept possession well. I love how he receives the ball under pressure. There is literally no one in our midfield who does that. Fred can do that, but he will lose it when he's doing that occasionally, and we've saw him lose that in some quite high-profile situations. Matic, because of the extra physicality that the frame that he's got offers him, he's very, very good in those situations, and he's able to take it under pressure and move it forward. And that's something that United desperately lacked while we've had no midfield. He was absolutely solid defensively, and even though, yes, he ended up getting sent off, at the time that he got sent off, United had only committed 9 fouls. 5 of them had been Matic's. So even though I don't really think that it was a foul when he got the second yellow, I think that was very, very soft. It might have been a foul, but probably wasn't a yellow card. I think that the totting up process, he probably deserved to go. Number 3, excellent performance by David De Gea. David De Gea has come into a very crucial point in his career. For the first time since his first season, really, there's question marks about whether or not David De Gea should be Manchester United's number 1 goalkeeper. It's been an absolutely ridiculous length of time where there's been essentially no pressure on him. He knew he was going to start the games he wanted to start, and he knew he was probably going to get rested for a pretty good backup in the games that he probably wasn't too arsed about starting anyway. But for the first time in a long time, there's pressure. The pressure is coming in the form of Dean Henderson. The pressure is coming from the form of Sergio Romero inside the Manchester United squad. For the first time ever, there's probably 3 goalkeepers that have got at least some argument. Now, some might be more legitimate than others, but there is some argument to be made for all 3 goalkeepers to be the Manchester United goalkeeper. Increasingly, we're seeing David De Gea have good performances. The only thing that's been a slight on him this season is his distribution, which has not been good enough, and also question marks about how he comes out to collect crosses under pressure at set pieces. If David De Gea could sort those 2 things out, his shot stopping and reaction saves are absolutely outrageously good. I think there's a very interesting 6 months ahead of David De Gea, possibly a very pivotal 6 months ahead for him. It'd be great if he managed to stay for a very long time and become an absolute legend at this football club, but there is pressure being put on him. And if Manchester United sold him, I'll ask you lot, how many of you would cry if he left us this summer? Now think back to a couple of years ago when he was winning how many Player of the Year awards. If he'd have left at that moment when it was rumoured that he was going, the mood's a bit different, isn't it? Today we saw Ole Gunnar Solskjaer going absolutely ballistic on the sidelines. We saw a completely different side, shouting and screaming, cajoling his players. Now some of these players might be players that he's already decided that he doesn't want here anymore. Jesse Lingard was absolutely balled at. Jesse Lingard, lose the ball one more time and you're off. And guess what? You lost the ball and he was off. Are we starting to see that dark, that very determined, that very authoritative side of Solskjaer that we was all hoping was there, that we didn't actually see the evidence of being? Now, I thought that there was obviously some sort of trait there in the way that some of the players have been chopped, from Lukaku to Fellaini to Sanchez and Young and all of these different players in the team. He's got rid of them with a very ruthless side. Now, I think Jesse Lingard hiring Raiola, I think there's been an issue, and I think he's probably only playing at the moment because of complete lack of options in the team. That being said, we saw that ruthless streak tonight, and we've also seen it in the post-match press conference. He's come out and he's said, I want a striker who wants to break his nose to score a goal. Is that a bit of a dig at Tony Marshall, who was largely anonymous against City at the Etihad? I think it might be. I think it might also mean that he wants a different style of striker. I think that's been very evident with some of the players that we've been linked to. And I think that's been very evident with what we've just gone and seen Erling Haaland go and do in his couple of cameo appearances that he's had for Dortmund. That sort of different style of striker could have had a massive impact with United, and we could be sitting here talking about United being in a final if we'd have just had that little bit of extra impetus. Has Solskjaer managed to grow a pair? Has Solskjaer got the confidence that he's going to be here beyond the end of the season? Because I'm not 100% sure that that is actually the case, to be honest with you. He also was talking about the Nemanja Matic sending off, and he said, for me, it was never a sending off, an absolute joke for me. How many times did they foul us? Of course, it's hard to come here and score a goal with 11, never mind 10. He's absolutely correct in everything that he said there. I thought it was a soft foul. I've seen him given and I've seen him not given, frequently for Manchester City especially not given. I think he made a couple of valid points, and I think the fact that he's only the third manager to do this to Pep Guardiola on the back of Jose Mourinho and Jurgen Klopp doing it. Now, I don't think anyone's prepared to stick him in the same sort of category as those two managers plus Pep Guardiola. But I'll ask you, what would Pep Guardiola do with this Manchester United team? Would he be getting a better result or a worse result than what we're seeing with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? What would he be doing with a midfield that consists of Fred and Matic, who prior to him coming back and looking brilliant had had essentially 12 months off? What would he do when he's got to try and play out from the back with Phil Jones? What would he do when he can't bring off Aguero and he can bring on Sergio, when he can't bring off Aguero and he's got Gabriel Jesus to bring on? What would he do when he's got no forwards? He turns around and goes, oh, we've never seen either manager in the opposite manager's circumstances, so it's very hard to say. But I don't think he'd be doing any better than what Ole's doing with this team. Number 5, strikers are isolated. Now, has Tony Marshall suddenly become shit since Marcus Rashford has got injured? I don't think so. Was Marcus Rashford shit when Tony Marshall was injured? Well, no, he wasn't. Is it any coincidence that Manchester United scored the most of our goals and both of those players was at the best part of their seasons when they both played together? No, obviously not. I think Marshall's suffering because that the players that he's playing around at the moment, albeit Mason Greenwood, who's got a phenomenal career ahead of him, and also Dan James, are just not as good as Marcus Rashford. I think it's as simple as that. Marcus Rashford was struggling when he was dealing with people who weren't Tony Marshall up front. I don't think Marshall and Rashford complement each other perfectly. I think that there's times when they're a little bit jarring when they play together. But it's obvious that better players make other players better. It's as simple as that. And I think Bruno Fernandes coming into the midfield, you're actually going to see the rest of the midfield just maybe take a bit of a step up and look a little bit better. Unfortunately, I don't think Marcus Rashford's going to be back for at least several weeks. So you're not going to see the full benefit of him, because if we did, I think that a top 4 charge would be very much Manchester United's. That being said, I don't think it's going to be a negative impact on United's squad, and we only have to be a little bit better than Chelsea, who are pretty shit as well. So I think top 4 is probably still doable. but all of our strikers are isolated. Greenwood isn't ready to play week in, week out in the Premier League just yet. Dan James had an excellent start. He's going for a rough patch now that he's just going to have to be allowed to be ridden through. But where is the backup? What are the other options? If Tony Marshall gets injured now, well, them two are out of form and Marcus Rashford is out, it's no wonder Ollie's pulling his hair out trying to get any fucker in on loan. I bet he's wondering if he could re-sign himself and play himself up front, because you know what? He fucking might have to. Right, that is it from me. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. We are back again tonight, so make sure to hit that notification bell for when we upload it. It's going to be me and Joe from Stretford Paddock, and we'll be going looking at all the fixtures from this week, and we're going to be seeing where the interest needs to lie. There's a little bit of Super League action. We've got Super Bowl. We've also got the Madrid derby that we're talking about. Got a little bit of a transfer game, and we're going to be looking ahead to all the Premier League fixtures. So make sure to join us. Be out about 7 or 8 o'clock tonight. Cheers for tuning in. See you in the next one.